Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tom Spark and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about some huge mistakes that YouTubers make in terms of privacy and also how these mistakes you can learn from as well. You might think that YouTubers being online content creator kind of have a good understanding of, what it means to kind of, stay private and stuff like that. After all, they're online all the time. They're posting videos about themselves oftentimes, so you think they probably should have a good grasp of what not to do and how to stay private online. But you'd actually be surprised. So in this video, I'm going to be highlighting some YouTubers making some really big mistakes, I think, and how you might be making some of these mistakes as well in your own personal digital landscape. All right, guys, so let's get into it. One of the first things I want to talk about is this channel here called Mommy and the Four Pack. Now, I don't know how this channel ended up in my algorithm, to be honest with you, but this is basically a channel where this mom, in my opinion, violates almost every rule of the privacy playbook. There might be some argument saying, hey, Tom, you should blur some of this stuff out, But at the same time, this person has posted hundreds of videos with pretty much every single video having the same exact issue in terms of privacy. So I think it's fair game to kind of criticize and use it as an example. So basically this channel is just a mom taking her kids shopping, showing the kids very often in the video, which already is concerning. You should never really show your kids online in videos, in my opinion, or even in pictures. If you're showing your kids in pictures and videos, you should be honestly okay with some creep out there doing something nasty if they see those videos online. I'm not going to say explicitly what they might be doing, but just know that there's probably at least one person in the world doing that. And if you're okay with that, then by all means, go ahead and post videos of your kids online. But if you're not okay with that, you probably should not do it. But let me just show you an example here. I was watching this video from her the other day. Let me see if I could find it. I think it is this video here. Actually, it might not be this video. It might be one of these. Let's see here. So it was one of these ones here. I think it was actually this video. So in this video, she does a really, really bad privacy mistake, in my opinion. And basically what she does, she actually shows the school of her like 4th grade son. She shows the actual school location. So anyone watching this video would be able to ascertain where her son goes to school, which is definitely not safe showing online, and especially since her son is not of the age of consent. This is a big no-no in my opinion. And the funny thing is she actually blurs out the students on the stage, which is good, but at the same time, you could see clearly the name of the school. Not just what the school looks like, but the actual name of it. You could reference what the school would be right there. She does block out his last name here, but again, even knowing the first name and the school, you might be able to ascertain their last name. Another mistake she does is she says that she gives details about her kid's schedule, saying this kid went to school here, and the reason we're going with this kid is because they don't have to go to school yet. You should never really give your schedules online to people publicly. You never post where you're going to be. That's just dangerous. And she does that with her kids, which is definitely not a good thing. And as you can see here, that's the kid here. Another thing is she said it explicitly when that kid was going to school. And by knowing the other school, you could ascertain from the kid's age where the other kid might go to school as well, since it's probably in the same geographic area. So yeah, definitely not something you want to do. And of course, showing your kid's face in videos like this and pictures online publicly to strangers is never a good idea either. And saying their names, of course, definitely a big no-no in my opinion. Similarly, I know a big content creator called the Deal Guy who makes videos on Costco, basically just deals. And you can see something on the screen right now. You might be saying, oh, immediately you know what this guy did wrong. And I've seen him do this a lot. I've even commented on some of these posts saying, hey, bro, I don't know if you should be showing your elementary school kids or younger in pictures when you have millions of people watching you. I don't think it's a good idea. They didn't consent to it. I don't think it's safe for their privacy. But he's done it lots of times before on his channel. He's shown them before in pictures, I do believe. I can't, there it is right there. So he showed his wife, all 3 of his kids, and he'll do this around every year or so, multiple times, as you can see here. That's just 4 months ago. So in just a span of 4 months, he's shown 3 pictures showing his entire family, all his kids' faces and stuff like that. Definitely not something you want to do at all. So those are some of the real life examples I've found lately, but we could kind of talk about some other mistakes people do make. One mistake is YouTubers often have their real life name publicly, and this is something you might be making a mistake with too. Now, what you probably might not know is that if someone does know your IRL name, they could easily go to a website like White Pages, as you see here, type in a name like Jon Snow, for example, if that is your name, search, and especially if you have a unique name, this is even more of an issue, and they can see everyone called Jon Snow in Los Angeles, see their address, family members, and so forth. This is a huge issue. A lot of YouTubers don't really seem to care about this. So if you know a YouTuber with a name, you could probably find their information unless they've used a specific tool. Now, if you guys have been following the channel for any amount of time, you're probably familiar with tools like these, but what they're basically called is called data broker removal tools. And I've made a tier list of every single one of them out there for the most part, with extensive data on each one and how they're different. If you're looking for the best one, I'm going to put a link in the description down below for Incogni. This is the one I personally use to make sure no one can find out my information. Scrubbed like 150 to 200 websites. This is the one I recommend and use. I am an affiliate for them, but they're not a sponsor of this video. So if you want to help support the channel and get a discount link for it, I'll put that in the description down below. Cogni is by far the best one. Don't just trust me. Check out my data. Check out my charts on vpntierlist.com. I made a tier list of all of them with all these different categories and stuff like that. So if you don't want someone finding your name like this, like it happens to YouTubers and they get doxxed, well, you should use a data broker removal tool. So now we could talk about some more general things that I see people doing as mistakes online as content creators. A lot of content creators use the same username across different platforms. So this makes it very easy to track them down and see what they're posting about and talking about. This is a mistake you also might be doing. So if you use the same username on multiple platforms and you're active on multiple platforms and posting information that someone might be able to ascertain who you are, that's something you probably should not do. Always use unique usernames so people can't really follow you between different platforms. Now, most of this video so far has been talking about a case-by-case example. Maybe some creep out there is trying to find out information or creep on you, and that's not something you want to let happen. However, there's also a bigger picture, and that being corporations tracking you. If you're not using a VPN, basically your internet service provider you use, whether that be Comcast, Spectrum, or any of these other guys, they basically could see every website you're using, and they pretty much sell this information to various data brokers on the internet. So if you don't want someone knowing what kind of website you're looking at, you probably should use a VPN. VPNs also have other uses like anonymizing your torrent traffic. So that is very useful and one of the main reasons people use them. Just a quick little plug here for my vpntierlist.com. Check that out as well if you're not interested in the data broker removal tool. This is more of a conceptual kind of privacy thing, not a direct action privacy thing. Like I said, more of a generalized kind of enhancement to your privacy. Your internet service provider is probably not going to show up to your door and creep on you, but it is something you should be concerned about because lots of times these internet service providers and various corporations have data leaks, and this is actually how you will get spam in your email address and stuff like that from people knowing your name, social security number, and stuff like this. So it's definitely something to be careful about. You know, there is a bigger connection at large when thinking about privacy in this kind of way. But that also kind of leads me to my next point, is a big mistake that YouTubers can make, and that's just like phishing. No, not the kind of phishing where you reel something in, but basically clicking on links in emails. Honestly, guys, nowadays, you probably should never click on links in any email unless you're specifically sure that it's 100% sure, not a phishing link. So guys, if you're worried about you not being able to tell, I recommend taking this one. It's called phishingquiz.withgoogle.com. And this will take a quiz and kind of help you to understand what to look out for. A lot of YouTubers get their accounts stolen, and this is not something that you want happen to you, because unlike a lot of YouTubers who are famous and have lots of money, if you get an account stolen, YouTube or Google might just not even care and get back to you. So you definitely want to be careful with this one and use tools like this to educate yourself on the dangers of phishing. Not only that, but there's also kind of interesting tools out there like this one. I don't really vouch or verify for this one necessarily, but it's like you could put a link in from somewhere and see exactly if it's a phishing link. However, that said, there are other tools like where does this link go, where you can actually paste the link and see where it goes to see if it's where you think it should go. This is one of the best ways to see if you're being phished, and copying and pasting links, you got to be careful not to click on it. But this is a good way also to check and see if the link you're clicking on an email goes to where you think it should. Just something to be very careful for, because I see a lot of YouTubers being phished and scammed this way. It even happened to Troy Hunt, the guy who makes Have I Been Pwned? So it really can happen to everyone. Well, except for me. I've never been phished and never will be. Hopefully. So guys, I think this is a good step for fundamental increase in privacy, avoiding some of the mistakes that common YouTubers do. Don't post pictures of your personal life online, especially when it comes to your kids who cannot consent. Don't post videos or content showing people where you live or hints to where you might be. Another thing is, don't get phished. Be very careful what you click on emails. Use VPNs to encrypt your data so corporations can't spy on you. And lastly, use data broker removal tools so you can't get doxxed like popular YouTubers do. Anyways, guys, thanks for checking out this one, and I'll see you again very soon.